be joining us before we get into the substantive. So thank you for joining us today. We are in the regular board meeting, September 28th, 2020. It is 6:06 p.m. We are holding a virtual meeting via Google Meet due to the governor's executive order. So we're going to call this meeting to order. Can we have a roll call, please?
Piles. Terrell.
Here.
Piles.
Present.
Piles.
Present.
Thunderbird. Not here. Beard.
Present.
Kennard.
Present.
Wester present. Martell.
Present. We have a quorum. Please join me now for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this point in time, I move that the Board of Education accept the meeting agenda as amended. Is there support?
Support.
Can we have a roll call, please?
Piles.
Yes.
Terrell.
Yes.
Beard.
Yes.
Kennard. Kennard. Thunderbird.
I'll pass
Kennard,
on
yes.
because I don't know what we're voting on.
The agenda. The
We're
agenda.
voting to accept the agenda.
Yes.
Kennard.
And Kennard, yes. Yes.
Thank you. Wester is yes. Martell.
Yes. The amended agenda is approved. At this point in time, we have two presentations today. I'm going to turn the floor over to Dr. Benjamin Edmondson, our superintendent.
First of all, thank you. Welcome to my office. You can see a little bit of, I actually stayed today because I met with the board and we took individual pictures that we'll be posting. We're very excited about that. For the community, we certainly did social distance, but I wanted you to know where I am. Normally I've been at my house, but today I'm in my office, and you're gonna start seeing this image here. You're gonna start seeing it in the community to our families. We are gonna have some lawn signs too that announce that we're alive and well in our own community. So do expect that. We're gonna hope that people that are in our community, our supporters, will put these lawn signs out there. Again, realigned, reshaped, reimagined. How beautiful that will be when it's out on our lawn signs and competing in our own town, not only for students, but just in general, to allow our community to know that we are moving ahead, and that as the world is changing, it's required us to realign, to reshape things, and to reimagine. What a great time to do it. So you'll be seeing those. Again, welcome. So as I said to the board and to the community, for the next few months, we're gonna have our principals who are gonna present virtually at this point, but soon to be a little bit different in face-to-face. But virtually, they have about 10 to 15 minutes to present the state of their school. I did not tell them exactly what they have to do. I just wanted them to present themselves not only to the board, but to the people that are looking and those that support and those who may have questions. So we're gonna bring that to you every board meeting until we're finished. Today, I'm very excited that we have a State of Wick Elementary, and we have Kimberly Calloway, who is the principal. She's got a lot of personality. When you walk into the building at Wick, you can feel her spirit. I can just feel her presence there. She's a pleasure to work with, or with whom to work, if I use proper grammar here. It's a pleasure, and I'm very excited to present her to you. For the next 10 to 15 minutes, I ask that you listen with an open mind, and certainly we'll have opportunity for you to ask her questions. So without further ado, if Miss Kimberly Calloway is available, I'd like to introduce you, Kim Calloway, to the Board of Education and our supportive community.
Thank you, Superintendent Edmondson. I was trying to put my clock on so that I don't go past the 15 minutes. So I'll tell you when I start the clock. First, just good afternoon or good evening to Mr. Martell, Ms. Piles, Ms. Wester, Ms. Terrell, Ms. Beard, Ms. Funderburg, Ms. Kennard. Thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to talk about WIC. And I'm going to wait for Cooper to put my presentation on. The school video. Oh, yeah, you could do that. So this is a video to advertise WIC. So you'll see how much, the skills that I have. And there should be music. Greetings. I'm Kimberly Calloway, the principal at WIC Elementary. I would like to welcome all of our future WIC families. Here at WIC, we have 3 goals: academic achievement in reading and math, creating a climate of culture where all students flourish, working closely with our parents and community. In order to achieve our first goal, we have a computer lab in each of our 3 wings, certified teachers that work with students in small groups daily, frequent monitoring of student progress, guided reading groups. Now, in order to create a climate and culture where students flourish, students wear school uniforms, greeted each morning, making sure their morning starts off positive. Free breakfast and free lunch for each student if they desire. Morning assemblies, student of the month, mentoring for girls and boys, Boys and Girls Club, and other after-school programs. Here at WIC, you will definitely feel like family when you enter. Hope to see you soon here at WIC, where students come first. So I had to keep my hands down because my nails were looking really bad that day. And the contacts wasn't coming in right, so I had to wear my glasses. So these are reading glasses, so thank God I can see you guys today. So I will wait for Mr. Cooper to actually put the stage up. And I hope you guys enjoyed our, and I want to give a shout out to my building sub, Carrie Hearn. She helped put this together because I had no clue how to do any of this. So I am appreciative of her. And of course, Mr. Cooper, because he made it into what it is so that I could show you guys. So thanks for watching that. So Cooper, we can go ahead and start the state of the school report. And I'm going to start my timer as soon as I say this. I want to thank Scott Rourke because he helped put this, he gave me my reports or my graphs of the things that I wanted to talk about. So thank you, Scott Rourke. Okay, you can go to the next slide. I am starting my timer. So first of all, I just wanted to put down the 7 correlates of effective schools. Our superintendent came in and he was saying that he wanted our schools to be kind of mimic the 7 correlates. And my report is going to be based off of the 7 correlates of effective schools. And they won't be in that particular order, but I am going to address each of those correlates. Cooper? So one of the correlates, it is instructional leadership, and that would be the instructional leader, which is myself. And these are the 3 goals that we have for WIC, academic growth in reading and math. Of course, we are looking at science and social studies, but the goal here is for academic growth in reading and math, increasing all stakeholder involvement, and a positive climate and culture for staff and students. The next one is the climate of high expectations for success. So I am a huge stickler of this. So if you see, it says 150% growth in reading and math. So for NWEA, in order, what they do is a child has to grow 100%, which is considered a year's growth. When you have students who are not at grade level, you cannot continue to grow kids 1 year because they will always be behind. So if this child is 2 years behind and they only grow 1 year, when they get to the next grade level, they will still be behind. So my staff, we talked about our students growing a year and a half so that we can help them catch up instead of keeping them back. So every time we are looking at NWEA, if the student's target, so NWEA will say, okay, well, Kim, your target is if you make 5 points, then that means that you've grown a year's growth, or you've grown where you're supposed to be. Well, what we do is we take the 5 points, cut that in half, add that to that. And I don't go with the smaller number. I usually go with the higher number. So I'll take the 3. And now that student has a target of 8 points instead of 5 points. And that's where it helps us get our students to grow. And this also means that if they can hit the 70th percentile, they will increase in their MSTEP scores. Also, another thing that works really well for us, we do a lot of small group instruction. Cooper, you can go ahead. I have like 12 minutes. So I wanted to show our scores, and I used this graph so that you could see where they were 2018, 2019. If you look at the top, you see the blue where it's showing the students who exceeded their growth, and then the green where the students met. And then when you look down at the red, that means that they were far below. Also, the graph underneath that, it talks about the students that mastered and not mastered. The red is not mastered. The blue is the students did master. And these are standards and skills from NWEA. Coop. So this is 2019-20. So let me go back for a second. I want to explain to you why I am showing you fall to winter. I want to show you apples to apples because we did not get a chance to finish till the spring. So from fall to winter in 2018, you saw what the scores look like. So now, if you look at where we are 2019, 2020, it shows that we exceeded the blue exceeded quite a bit. And if you notice, the red has gone back. I'm sorry, the pink. But let's look down at the bottom. So last 2018-19, the year that I got here, we had 36% of our students that had not mastered. And then, we had 64% of our students not mastered. And then we had 36% who had mastered those skills. Well, when they came back 2019, 2020, this is pre-COVID. If you look at it now, we have 55% that mastered and 45% that didn't master. So when you're looking at 64% that didn't master, and now we have dropped that number down to 45%, I think that that's a good thing. That's great because my teachers worked really, really hard. And the things that I talked about, the small group, that's what allowed us to do what we needed to do to get our kids to move forward. And of course, we did some other things, but for the sake of time, I just wanted to focus on that. If you go to, and that's reading. If you look at the next slide is math. And the same thing, I am comparing apples to apples, the fall to winter. And let me just say this, what I like to do is when teachers come back in the fall, I want them to always look at spring because we need to make sure that we look at those skills that students have lost or some kind of summer loss, and we need to work with them and do some reviewing skills to get them where they need to be before they take the test. And then we know exactly what we need to do. So when winter comes, we know what we need to do to get to spring. Or actually, let me do it this way. To get to spring, I won't go down. So if you look at math, you can see the colors on there. So at the bottom, it shows you their 2018-19. There was 64% again that did not master versus the 36%. But then on the next slide for 2019, 2020, Cooper, I'm on a time crunch, Cooper, you gotta keep up. For 2019, 2020, if you notice at the bottom, mastered and not mastered, again, our students we have more students that have mastered certain skills versus those that didn't. So of course, our goal is to get that red to go way back so that we will have more students who are growing, because once our students grow, we can make them become proficient students. And my goal is to try to get WIC as a higher performing school. So we have a lot of work to do, but I have teachers who are very much capable of doing it. So the next slide is safe and orderly environment. And these are a couple of things that we do. It's not all of the things that we do, but these are a couple of things that we do to make sure that we keep a safe and orderly environment in our school. We have a PBIS system, positive behavioral interventions and support, where students are learning, just how do we act in class? How do we act with one another? And then we always have our Fun Fridays for those students who have shown those particular skills. Classroom systems around every classroom has the rules. We actually have rules for the entire building as well. Of course, in order to keep our building safe, we have a sign-in system for all visitors. Visitors must have a pass. My students already know when they're in the hallway and there are other adults, if they don't see your visitor pass, hey, why don't you have a visitor's pass on? So they know they need to go back. But normally one of us is walking with that person, and we have to remind ourselves to get those visitors passes. Also reviewing emergency drills. And also we had our mentoring program for our girls and boys, and that did wonders for us last year. So also to go with the safe and orderly environment, on the next slide, I wanted to show you how the safe and orderly, what it looks like on a graph. So it's really small, but blue is 2000. This is before I got here at WIC. So it was 2017, 2018. The blue, that's how many suspensions that took place on the graph. And then if you look at the red, that is the 2019, 2020. And of course, the red stops at March because we left school. So just to show you that the things that we are doing, it is actually working for our students. We do a lot of, I have a lot of conversations with my students. They come in all the time and they want to talk and say, hey, Ms. Calloway, can I talk to you about something that might happen? Because I know you told me don't come in here if I've been fighting. So I need to talk to you before it happened. So those are relationships that we build with the kids. So it's like a family. It's like a family environment that I try to continue within the school. So if you look at the next slide, it says clear and focused mission. I changed the mission from what it was because I needed the mission to reflect what we do every day. So I had our teachers, we all put together, different missions, and the best mission won. So I believe Ms. Megan Maxwell helped us with this one. And it's making the difference academically and socially for every student every day. I tell parents all the time, when they say to me, well, I sent my child to school to learn. Well, they don't just come to school just to learn. They come to learn socially as well. They learn how to act and respect authority and how things should flow and how to share when they come to school. So this is what we try to do every single day. And that's the mission. All the students had to memorize it. All the staff had to memorize it. So everybody knows the mission here at WIC. In my next slide, right? And I'm going to just kind of quickly go through this. Opportunity to learn and student time on task. We are big on small group instruction, whether it is skills that they have not mastered or brand new skills that they need to know for that particular grade level. So teachers have embedded in their schedule small group instruction to work with students one-on-one or in small groups to make sure that we hit those skills that students need in order to move forward. We also have DNA. We have our reading interventionist and a learning specialist that also pull students to help in that area as well. The next one is frequent monitoring of student progress. This is something that we do on a regular basis. We take the NWEA and we want to make sure that when we get that information, we are constantly looking at that data, finding out where are students low. What do we need to do? Do we need to change this? Do we need to move them around? We have our MLPP and DRA. Those are just assessments that they give kids. Like MLPP, that tests kindergartners on how many letters do they know, how many numbers do they know. DRA is more of I believe, a reading assessment just to see where they are. We have Exact Path this year, and also because of virtual learning, we're able to really get into our POC meetings. POC meetings are just simply meetings with the staff where we bring the data to the table, we look at it to see what is it that we need to do. Why didn't this student get it? Why did these students get it? How did you teach it? Well, I taught it this way. So it's like a learning circle, but it's also to help us move students along. So I have it bi-weekly where I meet with principals. I meet with teachers one week, and then the teachers meet with their coworkers the next week. And we just kind of keep rotating that. And my last slide is home-school relations. So these are a couple of things that we do. We do way more than this, but I wanted to focus on really the first one, but the second one as well. So last year we had a mentoring group for both the boys and the girls. This year we're still trying to find a mentoring group for our girls because it's going to be done virtually. But for our Dream Kings, we've already got Mr. Malcolm in place, and we didn't just put anybody in front of our boys. We put somebody that was well respected. He's a family man. He is all about community. He was the 2019 honoree for Men of Excellence. He has his own radio show. He teaches the boys about respect, being positive, being positive influences to their community. He teaches them to be gentlemen, and they are, because they open the door every time they see girls, or they step back, or they try to grab my bags, and I don't like them touching my bag. But I let them take my bag because I want to say, oh, I'm a lady, I'm going to let you take my bag. But I don't like when they touch my bag because they let stuff fall out of my bag. But they are also, he teaches them how to be committed to the school and their community. So he is a great person. He does a lot for the boys. We wanted to get the boys to go on different field trips, but that was an issue last year. We were having a difficult time getting a bus together for an event like that. But he has done a wonderful job. During COVID, he still had programs with the boys online. He called them. He still had conversations with them. He still, he continued to work with them. So he was a great influence on my boys, and my 5th grade boys loved them. The suspension rate for the 5th grade boys were kind of higher, I think, than any other. And when he came in with his program, they brought it down. He brought it down a lot. And he will say, Mr. Malcolm will say to me, well, Miss Calloway, these are boys. So let me say, let me talk to them. And they want him to talk to them because they never want me to talk to them. And they're like, I feel so bad, Miss Calloway. I can't even look at you. Can I please talk to Mr. Malcolm? Go ahead. But the second time, I'm gonna see you. But they're still sweethearts. I love my boys. So that is my presentation. My timer just went off, and I don't know how to cut it off. Jeez. So that's my state of the school report. I am looking for some great things to happen this year. And if you notice in all of my slides, I put at the bottom, realigned, reshaped, and reimagined. And I believe that is what's going to happen for this new school year. The principals are behind Superintendent Edmondson as it relates to this particular slogan. And we want to see great things happen. We want to see our kids make gains. We want the school, we want Romulus to look like it is the highest performing school, and we want them to have what everybody else has. We want them to have the same opportunity. So that's my report. So thank you guys. No questions? Great. I'll see you guys next time. So I'm just kidding. So I am open for questions if you do have questions.
Thank you so much, Principal Calloway. Board, if I may begin by just saying impressive growth in the 1819 to 1920, very impressive growth.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. The floor is open for the board at this time.
Mr. President,
Yes, ma'am, please.
thank you, Ms. Calloway, for that. And thank you for all the work that you are doing at WIC. I know you have a great team over there, but you are an exceptional leader. And something that stands out to me is when Ms. Calloway joined us, the board at that time was discussing closing an elementary building. And I remember the first time that I met you and we stood in the hallway. At that time, Ms. Calloway thought that she was here for 1 year and there'd be a building closing and she wouldn't have a job after that. But her words to me were that she was going to do what was necessary for students for that year while she was here, thinking that there was no longevity here. So thank you for that. Thank you for your attitude. Thank you for realizing what our students need and reaching out and bringing in Mr. Malcolm and Ms. Williams, because they have been wonderful assets and wonderful in developing relationships with our students. So thank you for that insight and foresight that you had at that time. And thank you for still being here. And I'm glad that we didn't close the building, and I look forward to great things at WIC. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Piles. Is there any additional from the board at this time? Okay, if not, again, I want to say thank you to Principal Calloway and congratulations on your growth. We look forward to great things. And thank you for your presentation.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I'm going to turn the floor back over to Dr. Edmondson at this time.
All right, thank you, first of all, to Ms. Calloway and to her staff. I often say that principals attract families. Teachers keep families there, but principals attract families. So you have to have a principal that certainly is the champion for the school and is out there as the face of the school, even though sometimes people don't want to be. The principal is the face of the school. I appreciate how you put in the correlates of effective schools because, as I said in my interview, we all need to be speaking the same language as a district. No matter what school you go to, you should be looking for the correlates of effective schools to see where it's implemented and to see where it's not. That way we can hold each other accountable for whether it's there or whether it's not there. Also, the principal is single-handedly responsible for the culture and climate of the school building inside. So if it's bad, it rests with the principal. If it's good, it rests with the principal. So I encourage our community members to go on into WIC Elementary School as well as the others and start looking for those correlates. Make sure that you familiarize yourself, because I know that our principals, I've gone into every building and I've seen how they have absolutely worked the 7 correlates of effective schools with their staff. Staff is very familiar with them. At least they know what they are. So you should be able to go in there and ask those questions to principals and just start looking. And staff, we're not there to investigate what she's doing. We're there to support her and to see the correlates of effective schools in action. Thanks again for using the NWEA data. We appreciate that. And being vulnerable. Okay, all the principals, they know when you get up there, you're kind of vulnerable out there. So, and the board was very gracious to you. Certainly, because, we can ask tough questions too, but we thank you for moving the school forward and in a positive manner. And thank you for giving up your time tonight on behalf of the entire district and the families in which you serve. I appreciate it. You and your staff, please know that. Thank you. Have a great evening. We're now moving on to some of the board members' favorite topic, the food service. Very excited about that. Some of you are very passionate about that, and that's good. We had an opportunity to see SFE here, Southwest Food. I have to look for the E, excellence. I always want to say enterprise. They're here, and I will tell the board and to our community that I certainly met with them, and I've reinforced that, we expect high quality and that we're not going to settle for anything less. They've assured me on multiple occasions that we will get that. I told them we certainly don't want any student sit-ins. We don't want parents complaining. We don't want staff complaining. And they assured me that's not the case. I told them we certainly don't want to be embarrassed, whether it's in a school board meeting or anywhere else, for the quality of food that we're serving our kids. What they serve our kids should be the same thing that they eat as well. I had an opportunity to see, haven't tasted it yet. It was around here. I had an opportunity to see their salad. It's around here somewhere. And it looked good visually, and I'm sure that it tastes well. So they have about 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes to present to our community. And I will say to SFE that the board saved their questions that they were going to give Ms. Calloway, and I told them to load up on SFE. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Executive Chef Carter Knowles, the Director of Area Operations, Joshua Bain, who is here. The Director of Compliance, Rachel Lindstrom, is not here. I don't see her. Maybe she's coming in virtually. I don't know. And the Director of Business Development, Chris Benson. They've all been here answering questions. They're accessible, and they promised me to the community that they will be accessible to your concerns and your issues, but also they'll be accessible when you have some positive things. So without further ado, I'd like to turn this over to SFE. Be mindful of the time, please, and present. And I welcome you to our community, the Romulus community.
Thank you, Dr. Edmondson. We will go ahead and present. Sure. Well, great. Good evening, community, administration, Board of Education. Before we begin, I just want to take the opportunity to thank you for giving us the opportunity to become your partner in child nutrition and being able to bring that fresh approach to child nutrition specifically here for Romulus Community Schools. Here with us, as Dr. Edmondson mentioned, Josh Bain, Director of Area Operations here in the state of Michigan. Rachel Lindstrom, Director of Compliance for the entire company, also located here in the state of Michigan. Myself, Chris Vinson, I cover the state of Michigan for business development. And your on-site manager, Chef Carter Knowles. Chef Carter brings over 30 years of culinary leadership experience to the district, and he's really excited to engage with the students. At SFE, student satisfaction is our #1 priority. We want students to be excited and engaged when they come into the cafeterias and throughout this difficult time of virtual learning. We bring a unique approach by offering superior fresh from scratch food. Over 75% of our menus are made from scratch. We bring in more menu options and varieties with over 3,000 on-trend student-approved recipes. And we wrap that up with the culinary expertise and the operational expertise. SFE began partnering with districts back in 2014. Over the past 16 years, we've accumulated over 165 district partners. Our first district partner in the state of Michigan happened in 2017, and you will be making our 10th district partner as we are the fastest growing food service management company in the entire country. We serve over 10 million meals annually throughout the state. I'm going to hand it off to Josh.
Perfect. Thanks, Chris. It's definitely an exciting time to be just in the child nutrition space here in Michigan, and we're definitely excited to partner with you all in the Romulus schools. I just wanted to take a few moments and kind of talk about our just kind of plan of operation as we transition into the district. These are definitely unprecedented times with COVID, so it's looking a little different than maybe what we would normally do. So just going to walk through kind of a 3-step process into fully opening your school's kitchens. Right now in our initial transition phase, which is what we're currently in, we're in the process of onboarding all existing employees. We've done that. Most of them have already been put into our payroll system. We're going to go through and we've been looking through your current food inventory and using that to plan menus. In fact, our regional compliance expert for the state of Michigan was in the district today putting together some menus. And we anticipate having those menus in an interactive form available on the district website by the end of the week. In addition, we'll be walking through all the kitchens, and we've already started doing this and planning out kind of a plan for marketing for the district. And I'll talk more about that here in just a moment. And then today we were excited to start offering food pickup at Hale Creek Elementary. Kind of shifting into phase 2 over the next couple of weeks, we're actually really excited to partner with the district's transportation department, where we'll be taking food directly to households and then to bus stops in harder to reach neighborhoods. This is just a great opportunity for the students of Romulus. Our goal is to, get food to as many students as possible, the same as it is when they're in school. And so the partnership with transportation is really going to make that a lot easier, lessen the burden on households in the district. In addition, as we utilize the food that we already have that we kind of inherited in the pantries, we'll be seeing more and more variety adopted into the menus. And we'll also use surveys to determine the direction of our program. That's an important part of our approach. And just because we're virtual doesn't mean that we can't be doing that right now. The staff here is really, really fortunate to have Chef Carter, who's really passionate about developing just culinary excellence. And so he's already started working with the staff and doing training, and he'll continue to do that, gearing towards the day when students do return to the district, so we can have some on-point, fresh from scratch variety introduced into the menus. We're really excited about phase 3. That's the kind of the game that we excel at, and I know that everyone tuned in is excited for. And that's when students return to campus. And that time, we'll be opening up all of our school cafeterias. Before we do that, though, we'll be having full hands-on training for all of our food service staffs. We'll actually bring in culinary, compliance, and operational experts from around the region to train the Romulus food service staff and really bring them up to speed on the new system that we'll be implementing throughout the district. As we have students in buildings, we'll also be able to increase our menu variety, which I know is very important to Romulus, and that's important to us as a company to expose students to the best possible nutritional meals that we can provide. We'll also be doing lots of engagement activities such as roving chefs. We'll have nutrition ed, farmers markets. We're really excited about some of the digital marketing opportunities in the district and so on. One of the things that really sets us apart as a company is that we're able to tailor our operations to each individual school district, but we do have some corporate standards that we introduce throughout the company to make sure that we're on point with our operational and nutritional standards. I mentioned earlier that we've been in the process of onboarding employees, and I was very encouraged when we actually got to meet with the vast majority of the food service staff a short while back. Over 300 years of total food service experience is represented amongst your cafeteria workers. They are absolutely the experts on Romulus and the cafeterias, and so we're excited to partner with them and use the existing expertise that is already present amongst staff to drive this program forward and just give them the tools that they need to put forth some really great food that they can be really, truly proud of. I also touched briefly on marketing earlier. We're excited to put in some food court style signage in all of the cafeterias. We're also thrilled to see a large number of TVs already present in the cafeterias and seating areas. We'll be using those to integrate fully into our marketing approach to bring a really 21st century environment into the cafeterias. In addition, we enjoy doing monthly promotions to drive student participation. We can see some pictures of some staff doing a Dr. Seuss birthday party over on the right. Another important part of just our philosophy as a company is just transparency. We feel like that's an integral part of partnership, and part of that is communication. And so we will be monthly putting together newsletters that will be given to administration, the school board, and other district stakeholders to really keep you all apprised of exactly what's going on in the cafeterias. That'll include things like participation trends, maybe new menu items, as well as just updates from around the district. We also keep the line of communication open with parents, both letting them know what's going on in the cafeterias and also getting feedback from them to help us steer our programs. And at this point, I'm going to hand it off to Rachel Lindstrom.
Thank you, Josh. Hi, everyone. I am not in district today, but I do look forward over the next few weeks to meet a whole bunch of you face to face. As Chris mentioned, my name is Rachel Lindstrom, and I am the Director of Compliance for SFE. I am local in Michigan. I have the honor of managing a department that consists of registered dietitians and nutritionists. And one of the great features that you can actually see on the screen there about partnering with SFE is the online menu platform that we use. We work with a company called NutriSlice that does allow parents, the community, teachers, students to access all menu information at any point throughout the day. This does become extremely important in dealing with things if your students have special dietary concerns. And one major piece is in dealing with carb counts and making sure that the nurses have accurate information being sent over to them constantly. Another great feature of the NutriSlice is the ability to display the daily menus, nutrition information, and nutrition education or promotions within the cafeterias, if the districts and cafeterias allow for it. Next slide. Wonderful. Well, my name and my title would not be Director of Compliance if I did not enjoy talking about compliance. But my team's focus for the company is to ensure program integrity is met throughout every single program that the district does operate. And this is typically done through the audit process. To date, SFE has been through over 500 audits with no financial loss to the district, 100% successful. And that is great, especially crucial during this day and age. Just to speak a little bit to the additional support in Michigan, in addition to myself being local, Josh touched on it very briefly. We do have a registered dietitian assigned to the greater Detroit area. She was in Romulus today working with Chef Carter on menus, getting those all set up. And our main focus will be to stay on top of Michigan specific regulations. So Romulus is audit ready at any point. Now I'll pass it off to Chef Carter.
Thanks, Rachel. Hello, everyone. We are definitely a culinary-based company, and we have different things for the students, the kids to learn as far as culinary. When we have kids that are doing good or great attendance or honor roll, something like that, we get them to come down to the kitchens, and we'll teach them, as you see in this slide here, teach them how to make certain things. This one, they're making cookies, but we do pizzas and everything from scratch like that. And we also add in a little math with it, kind of teach them math while they're measuring and things like that. 75%, like we said, made from scratch. I really enjoy teaching the lunch ladies because they need a little boost of energy and morale, and they seem to be ready and anxious to learn. We have over 30 restaurant concepts that we will implement in the schools slowly by surely, but we will find something that, gives the kids a nice variety.
We're also really excited just at the opportunity to really partner with the greater community beyond just the cafeterias. As Carter said, obviously food is our main driver, but we love to partner with the district in other ways. We actually want to show a brief video highlighting a community event that we did out in Pontiac.
Hey guys, I'm Julian Bass here in Pontiac, Michigan at the Pontiac School District's Back to School Rally. My name is William A. Carrington. I'm the Pontiac School Board President.
My name is Lorenzo Sewell. I have the honor and privilege of being the co-chair of this organization and also the lead servant at Woodside Pontiac.
My name is Kelly Williams. I'm the superintendent for Pontiac School District.
I'm Monty Staggs. I'm the president of SFE, the food service company here, partnering with Pontiac.
Rodney Black. I'm with General Motors.
This is our annual Back to School Rally, where we bring all the kids in the city of Pontiac, regardless if they're in our district or charter school. It's all about the kids today.
We have about 4,200 people here in Pontiac that are really trying to engage in the community, help the kids, and so on.
We give out at least 3,500 book bags.
We want our students to be prepared for school.
We want to give every single student in Pontiac all of the resources they need to be successful, but you can't do that without organizations like SFE that's able to feed the community.
We have partnered with SFE, which is our food service provider. They have done some amazing give backs to this community. And this is just one of them where they provide the food for the back to school rally. As you can see, they're doing fresh fruits and vegetables. Every wonderful piece of food item that you can think of, we have out here.
SFE has been with the Pontiac School District for about a year now, and they encourage scratch cooking in schools. I know, it sounds crazy, right? We're gonna go try it out, see how it is. It's very overlooked in most places, but SFE has really taken it upon themselves to give scratch cooking and good meals to these students.
It's about getting these kids excited about coming back to school, having some great food, out here with a lot of friends and partnering with the community.
If you look at the kids smiling, all around here, everybody is happy. We're getting amped up for a great school year because this district is on the rise and we're constantly getting better.
Right. Well, that partnership is definitely one of the defining kind of aspects of our company. And we truly look forward to partnering with you all in the Romulus community. That partnership looks a little bit different right now during COVID, but we look forward to developing it as we move into the future. At this point, we'd love to open up the floor for any questions that you might have.
Thank you, SFE. At this point, board, if there's any board members that would like to ask questions, the floor is open.
Mr. President, this is Ms. Kennard.
Yes, ma'am, the floor is yours.
Okay, first of all, I want to thank you for the presentation, SFE. And one of the things that really caught my attention was the fact that you integrated learning from your kitchen with our students, those who are high achievers, and for those students who are interested on the culinary approach. And another thing that also caught my attention that was very good is the fact that you have a team, where your chef is there to manage. And I think that would be a great asset to our district. My question pertains to the marketing approach, seeing that we have COVID. And I know that you did mention a few minutes ago that it looks very different from the Pontiac, that video that you showed. So I was wondering, what do you have in mind? I know that we're still looking at the governor's rules and so forth and so forth. So how will you be providing the service to our district in terms of where we are now with what we have to do?
Yeah, great question. So, right now our primary objective is learning and deciding how to put food in as many students' hands as possible during this time when, access to food is negatively impacted in a lot of areas. So our first step was to work with Ms. Rudolph and the transportation department on putting together a really comprehensive plan to actually take food outside of the buildings and into the community. So that's, one way that we're definitely engaging. We'll continue to do that for as long as necessary. And as the district kind of implements the next phase of their return to learn plan, we'll respond accordingly. In the meantime, we're really installing marketing in the actual school buildings, looking forward to that. And then we'll also be definitely harnessing different digital tools. We're taking part in the virtual open house that's coming up. We'll be putting our menus online, and through that interactive platform, we'll be able to also do a lot to kind of push out information about the program changes to the community.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kennard. Is there any additional from the board?
Mr. President?
Yes, Ms. Fowles, the floor is yours.
Yes. Thank you for your presentation and for that information. Currently, how many students are we preparing meals for daily?
We're currently doing about 300 meals today.
Okay. And then that's between the high school and Hale Creek?
Yes.
Okay. Is there any plan to provide meals out of any of the other school buildings prior to the face-to-face return?
That's something that we're definitely willing to look at. I think our first approach is going to be actually doing the delivery model. I think that's going to hit a lot more students. We haven't got the results back yet from the surveys that went out to households, but we're definitely open to doing whatever it takes to get food out to the students, kind of within reason.
And the other question I had is currently, how many food service workers are back working?
Currently, we have about 7 ladies working.
Okay.
Plus the driver.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ms. Piles. Is there any additional from the board? If not, on behalf of the entire board and the district, I would like to say thank you to SFE, and we look forward to working with you.
Thank you. We appreciate your partnership.
At this point in time, we're going to move into the consent addenda. As we know, the consent addenda is routine in nature and will be acted upon by one motion. If any member of the board or citizen requests discussion of an item, that item will be removed from the agenda and become the first item of business under the report of the superintendent. Item A is the approval of the minutes of the Board of Education from September 14th and from the regular meeting and September 14th from the closed meeting. Item B is the approval of bills for payment in the amount of $71,841.27. And item C is the personnel actions as submitted by Human Resources. Number 1, employment of Candace Tucker. Number 2, resignations of Vicki Davis, Rachel Imes, Brianna King, Maisha Jordan, Michelle McMurray, Gabriel Sander Meyer, and Jessica Whiteside, and the reclassification of Angela Broaden. Is there a motion on the floor, please?
Mr. President, I make a motion that we accept the consent agenda as presented.
Support.
Moved by Ms. Wester, supported by Ms. Piles. Can we have a roll call, please?
Piles,
Yes.
Thunderbird,
Yes.
Korea,
Yes.
Kennard,
Yes.
Beard,
Yes.
Wester, yes, Martell.
Yes, consent agenda is approved. At this point in time, I'm going to turn the floor back over to Dr. Benjamin Edmondson for the report of the superintendent.
Appreciate it to the board, and this is the salad that I got from SFE. So I was just about to get into it, and then you caught me again. So I'll just put this salad down, and I will certainly have a response for the board. And I know some of you have seen or had an opportunity to try that, but let's make sure that we hold everybody accountable for what they say they will do. So the report of the superintendent, we only have agenda item A and B. But I asked Ms. Gutzman, my administrative assistant, not to block me or lock me in to just doing A's and B's from now on, because there's a lot of things that I like to report to you. I guess in the interest of brevity, I will try to keep it brief, but I do have a few extra things. I'm going to start with student enrollment. If Mr. Cooper is there, I'm going to go over some information for you because we need to know this, okay? People in the community need to know this. And I've been working on an email for the entire parents and community just in general, because things that happen from my office have an impact on everybody in the community. The decisions that the school board makes has an impact on the community. So as much as I can, I'm gonna give people information so that they know. You don't have to act on it, you just need to know. So let's talk about enrollment. Enrollment versus attendance. Enrollment is when people come and they sign up to be in your school district. The parents fill out all the information, okay? That makes them enrolled. Attendance is when they come every single day. That's attendance versus enrollment. But what we are here is we're looking at our enrollment. I have no shame about it, and neither should you. We should actually feel good on these numbers when we see them all in actuality, because this is COVID and this was the unknown. Making a decision to go to virtual learning is very frightening for me. It's frightening for parents. It's frightening for staff. Everybody's scared. And I will say this on behalf of all the superintendents in Wayne County, we're all concerned. Nobody feels good about whatever they're deciding to do. We're all worried. For those that have gone to face-to-face instruction, as I've talked to my counterparts, they said they're scared because everybody's looking for them to fail. People in their own district are looking for face-to-face to fail. They're looking for massive sicknesses, and that's how they have to kind of live their everyday life. Me, I don't deal with that, but then I have to deal with, falling apart at home, kids falling apart, the stress, the parents, the teachers, my own children ever putting stress. My son is only 13, and that's the word he used. The first word, how do you feel about virtual education? Stress. So we're all feeling it. We all have the same anxieties, and we need to lean on each other because we need to understand that we're not in this alone. We all feel the same way. It is the unknown, but unfortunately, it's become our norm. So let's look at some numbers here. Mr. Cooper, is it possible you could raise that? Because I know people really be interested at the bottom too. They want to know what's going on. Well, not quite like that. Let's focus on our schools first then. So these are all of our schools here. We have grades. You can see BART has a pre-K program all the way up to 6. What I want to impress upon you is Look at the years, 2019. So that was last year. And we compare it to 2020. So thank you, Mr. Cooper. So as an example, you have Barth. You look at the bottom, the total enrollment for 2019 in June, the end of June was 304. Interesting that here we are now in September 28th. This is the latest. This is just today. We look at the enrollment and it's 304. They have a sum gain of 0, which is excellent. You know, Principal Thompson, I know he's on here. He's been telling me in emails the great work and outreach that his staff has done. And I want to commend them for that, reaching out to the community, getting people enrolled. I want to thank all the administrative assistants for making the phone calls of families that have enrolled but haven't shown up. I want to thank the teachers that have made phone calls and emails to families that they're accustomed to seeing that maybe they're not seeing. We're all in this together. Principals, you know, we're talking about it weekly, and when we have our monthly meetings, we talk about it. We talk about a strategy. We make sure that we are making phone calls. Our staff realize, and they knew this before, but they understand that when kids don't come, that impacts your staffing. So as much as possible, let's reach out to families. So we look at Barth. Excellent job over at Barth. We can look at grade levels. So if you really wanted to compare, you could look at 2019 kindergartners and now look at 2020 first graders. So it's kind of diagonally. You can look diagonally and you can look at patterns. And you can see that, hey, that's actually a sum gain of 3. If they were kindergarten last year and they're 2020 now, first graders, you look and see that we've gained 3. But as an example, you can see where we are with Barth. I don't need to go through all of them, but I'll look at Hale Creek. They're down 19 students. Are we happy? Certainly not. I know they're doing great work. I know Dr. Bloodsaw communicates with me weekly, probably daily, actually. But to let me know what they're doing, the outreaches that they're doing there as a staff. So I'm very pleased. I mean, I didn't know what to expect. Actually, I thought we were going to be down hundreds. So if you really look, we're down, I think, 71 total. I mean, I couldn't be more, I just couldn't be more thrilled based on the unknown. I had no idea, and I expected it to be more. So Hale Creek, you see, we're down 19 at this point. Rom L, we're down 35. I know Miss Natara is a real competitor too. I know that. And she said that she's a little bit troubled, but she said, you know, those numbers are going up daily. They're getting new people every day, which is a great sign, but they're still down 35. We look at WIC, we're down 20. We look at the middle school, they're up. They're up, I don't know, that's 18, up 18. That's a great sign. That's the place where we've been losing people. So things are going on. There's a belief system that's happening that shows that people are coming back or they're staying. Let's look at the high school. We're down 7. I was thrilled. Only 7? Okay, with a little bit more outreach, we can certainly get more families when we start putting out our yard signs and we start showing people in the community that, hey, we're a viable resource to them. We're going to start seeing some changes. Adult ed, you can see that we've gained in adult ed, which is good. So overall, it's a good trend based on going fully virtual. Let's be for real. If we went face-to-face, the numbers probably would be higher. I'm not sure if they would be even, but I'm certain that they would be higher. A board member asked me, well, where are they going? We don't really have an answer for that because parents don't always say where they're going, but you do get their records and the records show where they're going. So we'll do a better job at telling you where they're going. But I asked Miss Kennedy here, I just said, overall, where do you think they're going? She said, well, I'm hearing some parents saying they're going to Summit or they're going to Metro. Good for them. If that's where they want to go, that's good for them. You have to do what's in the best interest of your child. But I wouldn't say that we had 70 people going there. You know, we're not offering face-to-face. So you have to understand that families probably are going where they can get face-to-face, particularly if they have to work. I could never fault a parent for what you feel is in the best interest of your children. But we're certainly going to look at those numbers. We're going to work hard to gain our families back. We're going to work hard to get families into a school district. If we scroll down a little bit, these are schools that you get partial FTE for them. So you can look at the trend. All of these are face-to-face. All of them are face-to-face. So you can kind of see where they were in 2019 and where they are in 2020. I want to thank Mary Kennedy for being so gracious and so thorough to do this report for us so that we can see where people are actually going, what their numbers are. And of course, this number doesn't show up but we get some FTE for that. So even when you see the total difference is minus 71, that does not include the partial FTE we get for having some of our students in those buildings and some of our staff in those buildings. VLAC, I'm sure that you know that's virtual learning. That's an option for kids and families, fully virtual. And you see RVLC, which is ours. So our RVLC is down by 13. And the reason I think that they're down by 13 is because there's so many other virtual options at this point. Previous, it was a good opportunity and a good option to go RVLC. But for some families, hey, if another school district is face-to-face and they offer a virtual option, that might be somewhere where they can go. So look at the difference, minus 71. If we were to quantify that financially, $9,000, it's loss of 71 would be roughly $630,000. But the state has made some provisions in terms of counts. You can count, I believe, 75% of your fall FTE last year that you can count, which is good. So they're really not penalizing you for a loss, because a lot of school districts are going to experience a loss. For those that gain, the state has put money aside for them. If you gain students, the state has provided some money for those school districts that gain. So I just wanted to give you an idea now that we're about 5 weeks into it, where we are as a district. I hope to have some better news in October, and hopefully we can keep those numbers. We can reduce those numbers. But again, I want to thank everybody that's out there being a champion, including our school board. I know a number of you have contacted me about families wanting to come into Romulus, and you know that I've called them personally, or I visited their homes to let them know that we are interested in your children. We want to keep you here for 12 years if we possibly can, that we really have a good thing here. We're not a perfect school district by any means, but we are utilizing our data to drive our instruction. We are certainly looking at opportunities to improve, and we have a game plan, and that's the important thing. The correlates of effective schools are in all of our schools, and they're going to help address some of our, maybe our shortcomings. So I want to thank the board. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them to the best of my knowledge and the best of my ability, but I will give you transparency. If I don't know the answer, I'm going to tell you I don't know it, but I'll be able to get you the answer. So that's it for student enrollment, give you an idea where we are, and then take your questions, and then we can certainly move on to the next thing.
Thank you, Doctor. Are there any questions regarding student enrollment at this time?
have a question.
Please.
I anticipate.
Dr. Edmondson, I know you knew I was going to ask questions.
Absolutely.
You mentioned the difference between enrollment and attendance. So we have our enrollment numbers. What percentage of our enrolled students are attending regularly?
I can't give you the percentage. I could certainly provide that to the board publicly. I don't have it in front of me, but I monitor it. I take it home and I actually put it underneath my pillow, and I talk to the tooth fairy and say, please bring us new numbers. But I can tell you that we monitor it daily. And what I saw was, offhand, I saw like 2,100. So I was proud. I was happy to see this number that we got, but I saw roughly 2,100 that I know that are actually coming in every day based on what principals have reported and teachers have reported. The information that we had, that I just presented, came off of MyStar, and that's what the state looks at, MyStar.
Right.
But we also have our own internally, where I'm seeing who's actually coming, and we've had, I would say, roughly about 2,100. And I was okay with that. I mean, I was like, okay, maybe we lost 300, but principals and our staff are doing an excellent job of doing enrollment. I mean, yes, attendance, not enrollment.
Attendance, right.
Because that's what you have to look at. They're doing a great concentrated effort. And I will provide that to you our next board meeting. I'll be glad to give that to you so that you can all look at it and just see where we are. And every school is looking at it. And this is the conversation that I'm having with every single principal about enrollment versus attendance. Like, look, I'm happy about your enrollment, but I care about your attendance. Who's actually coming? Who's actually reporting? And those numbers were pretty good. I mean, again, 2,100 is not 2,400, but this is MyStar, and it's pretty accurate, and so is our attendance. So 2,100 could be the number, but remember, each day that's different. That could be new students, and it does take into account enrollment. Okay, but on a particular day it might be 2,100, and that can be new students from yesterday that didn't report, blah, 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 blah.
Sure, right. I know, because I know in the beginning of the year, we also have some students who we still have their CA60s and they're enrolled. And I know there's new challenges with, since we're doing virtual learning, the attendance process, but thank you. Thank you for that. One other thing that I'd like, when you get a moment, especially when you get a moment, right? Especially our K through second / third grade, maybe around that range. I'm looking at our numbers and I'd like to know if we have 2 classes for each grade in each school, because our numbers are kind of suggesting that for most of those we would. And if so, being able to have smaller class sizes, even though our enrollment is holding steady, having that small class size will be something that we can capitalize on with our students and offer that maybe some of our competitors are not offering. So.
Listen, absolutely. First of all, I can feel the synergy between us. Beautiful home, by the way. I figure I'd throw that in there. But one thing that I told elementary teachers is, and principals, I didn't tell the teachers. Some of them I have when I walked into all of the buildings, but we're not going to see class sizes of 31 and 32 K through 3. My whole dissertation and everything that I stand for is about small class sizes because they do work. If you read my dissertation, it was quantitative and it absolutely talks about the difference in having small groups. If you can have 17 to 21, that's ideal. But it has to be, for it not to wash out the gains, you really need to have it for 3 straight years, but I'm not here to endorse my dissertation, but it is research. So if we had 31 or 32, I fully said, break it up. We're not having kindergarten at 32. We're not going to have it at 1st grade. You don't do that to your kids, your students, okay? Particularly in districts where kids are not ahead by the time they get there. But I also have the caveat to staff. If we're having 16 and 17 and 18, then I expect great achievement. There's no excuse. You can't blame the kids, can't blame their parents. You got 18 and you should be able to move 18 much further than you do at 32. And let's make this into theory and practice. You have 32 kindergartners and only 15 of them know their alphabet. Oh my gosh, then you have 17 that don't. Now imagine that versus having 18 kids and maybe 9 don't know their alphabet. It's much easier to work in small groups. So we are mindful of that. I'm telling the board that, listen, that's what we're going to do. If we have 32, please don't compel me to say, oh, we need to have a class of 32. I won't do that. And that's the quickest way to destroy the morale of a school as well. Yes. So thank you for noticing.
Yeah, I'm happy to hear you say that. And it's also my hope that this is something we would capitalize on, that we would be able to keep small class sizes going forward because we have substantiated the benefit of it with our scores at the end of this year.
And that's important what you said, because it makes everybody accountable. You can't have small class sizes and we expect the same results that we had last year. There has to be some improvement. Otherwise, we can't do it. If we don't have anything that shows that we're doing it right, then we need not do it. So that's out there, and it's not to put pressure on anyone. And I said, I've been an elementary teacher. If I have smaller class sizes, I will promise you that my results would be better than if I had 32. That's it. Thank you again.
Thank you, Dr. Edmondson.
By the way, again, just saying.
Mr. President.
Yes, ma'am. Floor is yours.
I had a question for Dr. Edmondson. So, of course, with the change of face-to-face versus virtually, like taking attendance, how, and it maybe this might be something that we can discuss at a later date, but what types of things are we putting in place that are different from those face-to-face interactions when we're taking attendance? So like knowing that the student is actually there and present and participating. And then also too, what types of things will we be using I know we are going to be using the NWA, but the NWEA, excuse me. But how are we going to gauge like their participation and how they're kind of keeping up from day to day?
So that's a great question. I don't know how I could answer that. I mean, I've seen it without having a teacher do it, because I think the teacher would be the best person to be able to show you that. We do have principals that are on right now I don't want to put them on the spot, but I have seen teachers do it, and that's how they keep attendance. Just yesterday, we were talking about, what's today? Oh, it's Monday. So just today, we were talking, I was talking to David Cooper about some teachers wanted all of the kids. Right now, we have all of the kids being able to see the teachers, and all of the teachers are able to see the kids. But that takes up so much bandwidth that it's having an impact in families that have 3 and 4 kids. Everything is slow or the thing drops. So that's something that we're starting to talk about now because we recognize that. But it's very important for teachers to have that interaction, but yet it's having an impact on how we deliver instruction when, boom, your hotspot goes out or your internet goes down because it's too much bandwidth. So we have to have some of those conversations. But we also want to make sure that we support teachers because I am watching the ingenuity. I went into the 5th grade. I can't even say their names now. Maybe it's 4th grade teachers and 3rd grade teachers at Hale Creek. I loved what I saw. And I'm sorry that I don't remember their names. I want to say one's Miss Hall, but I'm not sure. But I was watching what they did. They did a combination of ingenuity, but also some interaction, some personal face-to-face, asking questions, reading the kids. They were doing sustained reading, silent reading. And I was just so, sorry. Okay, sorry. I was just so pleased because I also said to teachers, we can't just offer ingenuity. That's not enough. That's not going to work. The first 2 weeks should be about checking in with kids, seeing how they're doing, asking them questions, reading to them, doing different. Don't hit ingenuity or we're going to lose them quickly. We've got to be personable. We have to start relationships. We need to bring the parent in and talk to the parent about things that they can do at home because a lot of parents are frustrated because, frankly, at home, if you have not set up a routine, this is really difficult. If you don't have a routine, okay, on a daily basis, it's really difficult. So I've tried to, through emails, I've tried to encourage the staff to be able to do some other things beside ingenuity to get kids engaged in the learning process and their families. Principals have been the champions of that, and I've gone to visit every school to see this in action. But if you'd like, at some point, I would love to, maybe in the next presentation, somebody could have a teacher that avails themselves to be able to ask that. Or you're more than welcome to come in and see how it is. I'm sure teachers would be willing to support you with that. It's really neat to see the kids, though. I think so. When I see them, they don't know who I am because I don't have a presence yet because it's still virtual. But I can't wait till I have a presence so that I can absolutely check in and ask questions just like you said. So thank you.
Thank you.
Let me check the chat. Maybe somebody said something. No, they didn't.
Thank you, Ms. Funderburg. Is there any additional from the board regarding this issue?
All right.
If not, again, Dr. Edmondson, the floor is yours.
Director of Student Services, as you know, we had a resignation, and the Director of Student Services, I'm proud to announce that we are promoting Miss Angela Brodden, who has done a great job since I got here. She's been filling in, doing layman's work. She's been doing the compliance and making certain that she's filling positions. She's done an excellent job. I've been very pleased with her level of professionalism, her warmth, her affect, her collaboration, meeting with staff members, filling positions, as I said, holding high expectations, making certain that we are compliant. She, like a lot of us in this building, are doing a lot of work, doing multiple jobs. So I'm very excited to welcome her to the team officially as our Director of Student Services. We're trying to fill positions. She's been helping us interview on the executive director positions while also making certain that we're filling in jobs. Today, I saw that we have a new occupational therapist that's joining. We haven't contracted out. It was a beautiful thing to see him signing a contract. I was just very excited. Well, benefits, he wasn't signing a contract. Filling out his benefits. So we're working really hard to hire people into Romulus Community Schools to not have to go outside for any organization. But the board is more than welcome, and we really want to see you come on, welcome her into the family officially. So I'm very excited for her, and she will be accessible to you. but we're really going to move forward in our special education delivery, because as I mentioned to you during my interview, I'm concerned at the high level of students, the number of special ed students or students that are identified as special ed. Sometimes they're not special ed, sometimes they've just been neglected because teachers, I'm not going to say in this district, have not afforded them an adequate education. And if research shows if you have 2 poor teachers in 2 years, you don't recover. And then next thing you know, somebody is suggesting that they go for special ed services. That's not going to be the case here. We're going to make sure that students that are identified for special ed really belong in special ed. So she knows she has that challenge. And, you know, I told her we have to make some changes because the number is too high for the number that we serve, and it's way too high based on those in Wayne County. So looking forward to it. Student services. I'm sorry if I'm looking at Ms. Garrison. If I said special services, I'm wrong. It was student services. So I apologize if I said that incorrectly. I'm good. Any questions? Otherwise,
Excuse me,
yeah.
Dr. Edmondson, the contract does read Director of Special Services.
No, oh, that's my mistake.
Okay, I
think it's student service. I'm sure it's student services. That was totally me. My mistake. It should be student services.
Okay.
So we can amend that. Everything else is correct. That's my mistake. I own it. I'm good. Sorry about that. And thank you, Ms. Garrison. I am reading what everybody's putting. So thank you. Any questions, or would you mind if I move on? I mean, you've met her. Okay, you can certainly, come on in and see her. She's wonderful. So just quickly, things that I'm going to run through. We're getting a big donation from Local 900, the UAW. I'm very excited. They're going to be donating more. We've already received a large PPE investment, all of our school districts, from Ford Motor Company. We picked ours up last Friday, so we're very excited about making certain that our students and staff, when we actually get back to back to face-to-face, that we'll have enough PPE. But in addition, a friend of mine is Local 900, and he's one of the officers, but he has made certain that we're going to get a PPE donation, a significant one, a substantial one, to Romulus Community Schools and Wayne Westland Community Schools as well. We'll be the beneficiary of more masks, more face shields. I believe we're getting some hand sanitizer and some gloves. Once that becomes official, I'll certainly let you know, but I'm very excited about that donation that we have. That's C. E, I'm jumping to E. I've been to every school. I've been visiting schools. I need you to know that as a school board, I'm walking in the schools. I'm looking at the great things that the teachers are doing in spite of. But, we can't continue to say unprecedented. These are the times that we live in now. We need to still have high expectations for the delivery of instruction. But I've been very pleased. Every school that I've gone into, teachers are teaching. So there should never be a question about that. They are teaching. They're doing the best that they possibly can. So I'm very excited, and I encourage you to go visit if you have the time in your day. I know that many of you work. Go visit and see the great things that our teachers are doing, and give them a compliment. It's really nice to get one. Give them a compliment, and if they're doing well, if you have any concerns, address that with the principal. But please, before you go visit, let me know so that I can let the staff know. I want to tell you that I've been doing some problem solving, working with the REA in particular. They've been working with our cabinet. We're trying to problem solve so that issues do not come to the Board of Education table. We sat down last week, I think it was about last week, maybe the week before, ironing out about 10 to 12 issues that were brought to our attention. I want to thank the REA and the leadership of Ms. Salerno and Ms. Carter. We have a very good relationship thus far. There's no gotchas at the table. We're all on one team, and I promised everyone. I've met with Ms. Garrison, Local 64. I've met with Ms. Roxanne, Local 3422. Okay, I'm off the top of my head, and Ms. Carter. So we're all working together, and I reminded them that we're one team. It's not us against them. When we sit at the table, when we negotiate contracts, it is not a us against them. That never works for a district. We're all working together, and we don't come to the board meeting to air out our laundry. We work together at the laundry mat. That's what we do. We work together at the laundry mat, to get our things together so that we don't have to come to the board and embarrass not only you, but our district. When we start airing that stuff, people leave the district. So I want to thank them for problem solving. That gets me to the next thing. I want to thank Local 3422, Local 64, the teachers, REA, and I want to thank cabinet members. We have been, tomorrow and Tuesday and Wednesday, we have 6 candidates that we're putting forward for the executive director of early childhood through 12th grade. We have some very good candidates. They helped us narrow the pool down from 21 to 6. We're very pleased with who we have. They will be interviewed the next 2 days. We will then move the top 3. They have to be dynamic. I need you to know that's the standard. I don't want anybody average. That doesn't help us. We want people that are dynamic, that we turn over to the round 2. Round 2 will be in front of the REA and identified teachers in collaboration with Local 64, in collaboration with Local 3422. Then we have a principals group, Raza. I'm sorry, Miss Marino. Miss Marino was there. She's very helpful too. We had the support of Raza. So the next round 2 will be in front of Raza. Okay, we'll be in front of the locals, and we'll also be in front of 2 identified board members, and we're looking for parents, and we're looking for business community to sit in, because the next round, those 3 candidates will have a round robin with all 3 of you all 3 groups, and you all are going to determine who we choose as our finalists, who will then have to go and do a presentation, maybe in front of our school board. But I want people to see who we have in front of us. So I just wanted to thank you all for that, for their participation. And I've shared with you before, and I mean it. I am a collaborative leader, but I can make decisions by myself, but I prefer to be collaborative. But when it comes down to the tough decisions, I will make them, and I will stand in front of everybody being accountable for the decision. I will not put anybody else in front of you, blaming them. You can blame me. That's my responsibility. So I wanted to thank those local groups, and I wanted to thank the board for their support. I will always be transparent with you as I promised, and I hope that I've delivered on that thus far. That is my report.
Thank you, Doctor. If there's no additional from the board, I'm going to back up just a little bit. We had public comment for agenda items only. The only items on the agenda today, of course, are the report of the superintendent and the 2 action items under the report of the business and operation. The first one is the bus purchase, and the second one is asphalt paving at Romulus Early Childhood Center. If there's any public comment related to those agenda items, the floor is open now. If not, we have communications and expressions from the public at the in general, at large, at the end of the agenda. So again, if there's any comments related to those agenda items, the bus purchase or the asphalt paving, the floor is open now. Okay, we are going to move forward then. The next item of business is the report of the Executive Director of Business and Operations, Ms. Angela Rudolph. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you. The first item is the purchase of 7 buses. This is utilizing our bus grant as well as our enhancement millage. We got the bus grant earlier in the spring, but then COVID happened and we weren't transporting anyone. But now we're ready to complete this bus purchase. 6 of them qualified for the grant. So 6 of them will be partially funded by the grant and will be taken out of our fleet. And the 7th one is in addition to our fleet.
Thank you, Ms. Rudolph. Is there a motion on the floor?
Mr. President, I'll make the motion.
Second.
Yes, ma'am. The floor is yours.
Okay. Be it resolved that the Board of Education approve the purchase of 7 new buses as presented to be funded out of the Wayne County Education Enhancement Millage and the Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes and Energy bus grant. This is our annual replacement of our aging bus fleet. The budget implications are $428,887.75 from the enhancement millage.
Second, Kennard.
I'm sorry, if there's no discussion, can we have a roll call, please?
I did have a question. I'm sorry.
Oh,
And I
please.
guess this is for Ms. Rudolph. So I know that we are, in this COVID-19 and that we're buying buses, but at some point, if it looks as if we won't be going back soon, are we kind of slowing down on our bus purchases, or are we still mandated by the state to keep up with the bus fleet?
We are mandated by the number of years that our buses are on the road, and we had at one point bought a lot of buses in 1 year, between 1 and 2 years. So unfortunately, they aged out all at the same time. So the reason why this purchase is really important is because we had gotten down to having one spare bus, which means if any buses break down, we only have one to spare. So with taking out 6 bad buses, adding 6 new, plus adding an additional bus, that really helps us. We had expanded our transportation at one point because we were going into Inkster, all over Inkster, and also we had expanded transportation to GSRP, which required us to have more buses on the road at one time. So we will continue to buy our buses and get the old ones out of our fleet.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. President?
Yes, ma'am, Mr.
Just a quick question. When Ms. Rudolph, when you said that the buses 6 will be coming out, what happens when the buses come out?
As part of this bus grant, which has to do with road emissions, those buses actually, the blocks of the engines have to be destroyed and we have to take them off the road. That was a condition of this grant. So whatever scrap there is left, if we can sell it, we will. But we have to bust the engine blocks as part of this grant.
Okay, thank you.
And I just wanted to say thank you for pursuing this grant too.
Thank you, Ms. Rudolph. Is there any additional for Ms. Rudolph? If not, can we have a roll call, please?
Hiles.
Yes.
Kennard.
Yes.
Thunderbird.
Yes.
Terrell.
Yes.
Beard.
Yes.
Wester, yes. Martell.
Yes. Motion carries. The next item is the asphalt paving for the Romulus Early Childhood Center. Ms. Rudolph, the floor is yours.
This project is part of our effort to improve the building and the grounds at RECC, which have been neglected for a number of years. We were actually talking about closing that building, but discovered that it was very self-sufficient and self-sustaining in terms of grant funds, as well as the rental income that we get from the building. This particular project is funded out of some additional grant funds that we received. And as part of that agreement for getting this money, they wanted to see some upgrades in that building. So this is one of the items that we are doing. We are sharing the cost with the Guidance Center, who rent space from us for Head Start. We have painted the building. We're painting the outside. We've painted the inside. We're upgrading the bathrooms and other items out of this funding as well.
Thank you, Ms. Rudolph. Is there a motion on the floor regarding the asphalt paving?
Mr. President, be it resolved that the Board of Education approve the paving of the parking lot at RECC. Costs will be paid out of prior year GSRP grant funds and cost sharing from the Guidance Center. As Ms. Rudolph stated, parts of the upgrade at RECC due to building and property deterioration This and other upgrades were agreed to with Wayne Risa to use grant funds owed to the district. The district cost from grant funds is $31,637.50, which is 50% of the total. And then a guidance center to contribute the other 50%.
Support. Moved by Ms. Funderburg, supported by Ms. Webster. There's no discussion. Have a roll call, please. If there's no discussion, can we have a roll call, please?
Piles,
Yes.
Funderburg,
Yes.
Beard,
Yes.
Kennard,
Yes.
Terrell,
Yes.
Webster, yes, Martell.
Yes, motion approved. Thank you, Ms. Rudolph, for your report.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
may I interrupt for a second, just for the Romulus Early Childhood Center. I encourage you all to go by there too. We have an exceptional leader, Miss Deani Daigle, who has taken over, and she is very active, shall we say. She has her ideas on where to move the school. The numbers have drastically improved. I believe we had 60 kids. I'm pretty sure that's the number. Might even be higher now. We're doing a tremendous outreach over there. And you know that's going to be the feeder. It's got to be one of our feeder schools. And we have promised her the support to upgrade the building, make it look like it's alive and well, and make it like it's got energy and life. So again, let's not forget our early childhood. Let's make sure that we get an opportunity to visit that program under Ms. Daigle and her staff. Again, they're doing some great things. She promised me that those numbers would be high, and she has absolutely delivered. So, you know, we're making investments in the program, but we're also investing internally by having the right staff members run the school. So just wanted to say that to the board. I'm very excited every time I get over there. So thank you to Ms. Daigle and her staff too.
Thank you, Doctor. We are now going to move forward into the report of the board president, and that will be brief. I just want to say that I'm optimistic. I'm very optimistic. You know, we got the enrollment numbers today, and you know, I'm again very optimistic, very encouraged. We have a lot of work to do, but we're moving in the right direction. You know, when Dr. Edmondson came in, and you know, the first thing he spoke about was changing our culture and climate, and I feel that we are doing that. I feel we are moving in the right direction. We're working collaboratively. You know, administrators, our respective unions, the board, the district office cabinet, and I'm very, very optimistic. So I just want to say thank you for everybody for your hard work. And you know, it's you speak about community outreach, and it's each one of our duties and responsibilities to let another person know what's going on in Romulus Community Schools. You know, I'm going to be doing my best to tell the next person. I just encourage each and every one of you to do the same. Other than that, I'm going to move forward to the next item, which is the communications from the public. This is not limited to any agenda item. We will be, the communication is limited to 3 minutes. No personal attacks, please. The floor is open. Okay, if there's nothing from the public today, I'm going to turn it over to the board. The floor is open.
Mr. President.
Yes, ma'am. The floor is
Ms.
yours.
Funderburg. I just wanted to remind our listeners and to actually share this information. So we have an enhancement millage that's coming up on the November ballot. And the enhancement millage, as you can see, it actually helped us buy those buses that we are purchasing. And so it does some really cool things, and it looks a little different in each district on how they spend those extra monies. But just the Wayne County taxpayer should know that the millage would be renewed in its current rate and will cost the average Wayne County homeowner less than $8 per month, with 100% of funds going to Wayne County public schools and public school academies. So the public school academies are new this year. The enhancement millage, the last time we passed it was just for public schools. And so they've added public school academies onto that. But November 3rd, Tuesday, when we go for our election, make sure that you turn that ballot over and hopefully get the information that you need to support it. It helps our schools out significantly. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Funderburk, for the reminder. Is there any additional from the board?
Mr. President, this is Kennard.
Yes, ma'am, the floor is yours.
Okay. I just want to, I have a lot of residents who's inquiring about Wick Road, particularly with the November 3rd election coming up. And one of the things in the conversations was that possibly if that location, for those who are voting in precincts 1, 7, and 10, if we perhaps could or had enough time where that location could be moved to another location. And so it's open for, I think we should check into that and look into that, or if we think it is something that we can probably have at another location due to the extenuating causes concerns of the road. I don't think they anticipated it to be under construction this long. But it's indeed a situation where it's not conducive to a lot of the traffic going in and out, and especially with the expectation on that date, November 3rd. So if the superintendent or their board discussion or the superintendent reach out to the district or to the city to see if it's something feasible based on some of the concerns from those residents who are in precincts 1, 7, and 10. And so that was one thing that was brought to my attention in the last couple of weeks in concern of those individuals who stay in that area. So I wanted to bring that to the board's attention.
Thank you, Ms. Kennard.
All right,
Oh,
you're
sorry.
quite welcome, sir. Okay. And then the next thing is that I would like to welcome the Director of Student Services, Ms. Brodden, and we look forward to seeing and being a part of your success here in the Romney School District. Thank you very much for being a part of our district.
Thank you, Ms. Kennard. And I just want to thank all the board members and especially Dr. Edmondson for this opportunity. And I am so looking forward to moving our district forward and help and with the assist of all of you. So thank you so much. I really do appreciate it.
To Ms. Kennard, I'd like to address that. First of all, thank you. I never even thought about that. In terms of,
You're quite welcome.
In terms of Wick Road, because immediately when you said that, I thought about how that vote could be disenfranchised, how easy that is to disenfranchise voters by having that kind of construction. And don't let it be a bad day. Don't let it be raining.
Yeah.
Then it's worse
Yeah.
off. So I talked to the mayor. We had a meeting 2 weeks ago, the mayor and his entire cabinet. So I'll be glad to reach out to him as a starting point, just to address the concerns that we'll say that our families are having, our families that are voters are having that problem. I'll certainly reach out. I'm not certain that I can change anything, but I can certainly advocate for a change and see what they say. You know, sometimes that's a cost because then they have to reroute and they want to put out the message, but I'll certainly advocate on behalf of our families and see what we can do there.
We'll appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, thank you for bringing it to us.
Mr. President.
Yes, ma'am, Mr. Rell, the floor is yours.
That is something that if you're going to do it, you're going to have to do it right away. There is a mandate by law that the community that vote in precinct 1 would or the 3 precincts that's in there, they have to be notified 30 days in advance of the election. And as you know, we're getting really close to that. It had to be notified. And so something has to be posted in the paper, and then notices do have to go out. It is something that I would think is possible at this point in time, but it just really have to, get with the clerk's office to make sure that that happens and happens in a way that's really fast so that people can get in there and vote. That's it.
Ms. Terrell, I know that's exactly what you do, your line of work. That wouldn't be a cost to the school district though, correct?
There would not be a cost to the school district, and there's a lot of funds to take care of stuff like that, in the current situation that we're in. And so that wouldn't be a cost to the school district. That is something that the clerk's office would be able to notify and get that going. So yes.
Dr. Edmondson, we would just have to have an alternative space for it to happen. So whether it be at RECC or at the high school.
Thank you for so willingly putting them out there like that. I'll certainly let them know that.
Well, I mean, in vicinity, those would be the most logical places.
And to be honest, those were the two locations that was brought to my attention. Thank you, Danielle.
Thank you.
For me, Prez, I just want to thank, I'm going to say it every time. I want to thank the board and actually the community too, for giving me this opportunity. I've done this job before. I've never had so much fun as I'm having now. Maybe it's because of where I am in my life at this point, but I've enjoyed working with this board. I've absolutely had. Boards are the reason that superintendents leave the job. And I want to thank you. I know it's been early, it's only 5 weeks, but I'm still in the honeymoon phase. But I want to thank you for being so open with me and honest and allowing me to do the job. Again, I'm not perfect. I will certainly always put kids first and the well-being of our community similarly. But I just want to thank you because I really love coming to work every single day and trying to problem solve and do what I said that I would do. So I just want to thank you for your support. That's it.
Thank you, Dr. Edmondson. Thank you, board. Is there any additional from the board this time? If not, I'm going to make a motion to adjourn.
Support.
Moved by myself, supported by, was that Ms. Funderburg?
That was Wester.
Ms. Wester, can we have a roll call, please?
So you got the hotspot working finally.
Yes.
Funderburg.
Yes.
Kennard.
Yes.
Beard.
Yes.
Terrell.
Yes.
Wester, yes. Martell.
Yes.
748.
Thank you. Everybody stay safe, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Have a good night.